It's one of the weirdest debates on the internet. Could 100 unarmed men take down a silverback gorilla? At first, it sounds ridiculous, but when you look closer at the biology, strategy, and raw power involved, the answer might actually surprise you. To make sense of this matchup, we have to start with the basic. The silverback gorilla isn't just stronger than a man, it's operating on another level entirely. Adult male stands up to 6 feet tall and weighs 300 to 500 pounds, with some reaching 600 pounds. That bulk isn't just for massive show, it generates massive momentum when they charge or strike. Silverback are estimated to be 4 to 10 times stronger than a trained man. Some reports say they can lift over 1,800 pounds. Bench press are estimated, even if exaggerated, range up to 4,000 pounds. Their muscle density is nearly 4 times that of a heavily muscled man and packed with fast twitch fibers for explosive power. Their skeleton, thicker, denser, and built to take punishment. With an arm span of over 8.5 feet, gorillas can deliver wide crushing blows. One single punch may hit with 13 to 2,700 pounds of force, enough to fracture a skull. Their grip strength, strong enough to bend metal and tear down trees. A gorilla's bite hits 1,300 psi, more than a lion's, rivaling a jaguar, designed for cracking bark and bamboo. But in a fight, it's a bone-breaking weapon. Despite their size, they can sprint up to 25 miles per hour in short bursts and climb with a surprisingly agility. But they tire quickly, built for violent bursts, not endurance. Durability, gorillas are tanks. Their thick skin, dense muscle, and heavy bone structure absorbs impacts that would cripple or kill a man. Now, let's talk about the men. Not athletes, not fighters, just 100 average, healthy, strong men. Most average men can bench about 135 pounds, squat 125 to 135, and deadlift 155 to 225. Even experienced gym goers might top around 300-pound bench, 400-pound squat, 500-pound deadlift, but still nowhere near a gorilla's level. Men are taking orders of magnitude weaker. An average man's punch land about 150 psi. Even elite boxers max out maybe 800 pounds, miles below the force of a gorilla can deliver. Kicks can hit harder, over 3,000 joules, but landing a clean on a fast, muscular, bone-armored animal, that's too risky. Most men run 5 to 9 miles per hour. Gorillas sprint 20 to 25 miles per hour. But men have one clear advantage, which is stamina. Unlike gorillas who rely on short bursts, men are built for endurance. That could matter in a prolonged fight, if such thing were even survivable for any human involved. Men are fragile. No claws, no natural armor, no bone density to rival a gorilla. A man's skin is thin, vital organs are exposed, and a direct hit from a gorilla could mean shattered ribs, punctured lungs, or even worse. The average man is completely overwhelmed, outclassed in a raw physical stat. Fewer tools, less force, and far more ways to get killed instantly. But this isn't just about numbers on a chart. This is a fight, and fight involves behavior, instinct, and psychology. Gorillas, thankfully, aren't typically aggressive killers looking for a fight. They're mostly peaceful herbivores. Their aggression is almost entirely defensive. They react when they feel threatened, cornered, or when their family is in danger. And believe me, 100 men approaching would absolutely be seen as a threat. When a silverback feels threatened, it doesn't just attack. It puts on a show. Loud hoots, roars, throwing things, standing up, and the iconic chest beat. These are escalated warnings. Mock charges might follow, rushing toward the threat but stopping short. This is all designed to do one thing: terrifying whatever is threatening, to make it run away. Given that terrifying physical disparity, direct confrontation using only individual strength is suicide for any man. Man can't outfight it individually because of the extreme mismatch. Tactics relying purely on human force won't work. Trying to inflict meaningful damage with an unarmed strike like punches or kicks is futile against the gorilla's durability. It's less than a nuance. Simple distraction like yelling or throwing small objects such as dust are equally ineffective against an enraged animal. The man's only glimmer of hope, the only way this hypothetical scenario could ever end with a human victory, relies entirely on weaponizing their advantage. They have to survive the initial lethal onslaught and use the gorilla's one major physical weakness against it, its limited stamina. They have to turn that sheer power of their numbers into unstoppable force. And they have to use their intelligence to coordinate tactics that gorilla won't expect. Since this is all hypothetical, we have to make this as realistic as possible. As I've mentioned before, a gorilla won't simply attack. It has to be threatened. The biggest thing that would hold an average man back is fear, lack of leadership, and lack of purpose or training to overcome the terror and chaos. They have to have a reason to fight this gorilla. It can't just be for fun. Why are these men fighting this beast? Is there a reward?
Be honest. Are all of us riding to our deaths?
Yes, we are.
And since we're dying anyway, you're saying that it's better if we at least die fighting?
I am.
To make the victory possible, these men couldn't be average. They would need to be trained, led, and possess the psychological fortitude to combat the fear and horror of seeing their comrades fall. Let's be honest, men are not naturally apex predator in terms of physical weapons. Yet, we rose to the top of the animal food chain. This was achieved through intelligence, cooperation, tools, and the ability to face danger together. This scenario required those human traits at their absolute peak. With the training and a clear leader, the man could potentially overcome the psychological breakdown that fear causes. Discipline, instilled through training, allows them to follow orders even when terrified. A leader can direct a group, maintain cohesion, and adapt the plan. If these men can mentally accept the certainty of a horrific casualties as a terrible cost, but not a reason to break and run, they can absorb the losses without a total collapse. This allows them to use their advantages. They could implement a managed swarm, a coordinated effort, not a chaotic rush, where specific groups are directed by the leader to simultaneously engage, using their collective mass and discipline holds to try and overwhelm and immobilize the gorilla's limb. They could use a coordinated tiring maneuver, employing waves of men, using their superior endurances and speed relatively to the gorilla's burst to constantly harass, feint, and force the gorilla into expending massive energy in short bursts, tiring it out over a prolonged encounter, all while maintaining a strategic distance or rotating engagement. Beyond using their bodies in direct confrontation, humans' intelligence allows for tactics outside the strict unarmed definition, using the environment. With 100 men, they could dig a pit trap, a significant undertaking, digging and camouflaging a large deep pit to trap the gorilla, neutralizing its physical power. Construct improvised restraints, using natural materials like strong vines or branches to create large, robust nets or ropes to entangle the animal. Use the environment to their advantage, luring the gorilla into a natural choke point, unstable ground, or even attempt to herd it toward water hazards where its movement might be impeded. Build barricades, using collective strength to move heavy natural materials to create barriers or channel the gorilla into a specific area. These tactics use intelligence and numbers to avoid a direct force-on-force fight where the gorilla has the insurmountable advantage, and Instead, create a situation where its physical power is nullified. Based on the research, victory is theoretically possible due to numbers and endurance, but the probability is near zero. Fear and chaos lead to a devastating rout. However, in a revised scenario where the 100 men are trained, led, able to combat fear and potentially use the environment, then victory, while still incredibly difficult, costly, and requiring immense sacrifice from those men, becomes potentially executable. It's a battle won by not matching strength, but by discipline, strategy, and psychological fortitude, and uniquely human ability to cooperate and manipulate the world around them. Ultimately, the battle isn't just physical, it is the test of the human psychological and man's ability to apply intelligence and cooperation to overcome nature's raw, terrifying power.